looking for the tasks to complete for today. Welcome to our new unit. This is Unit 3. So you're looking for tasks for Unit 3, Lesson 1, or U3L1. You can find that under assignments or on the course Canvas homepage in that weekly calendar right next to today's date. On that note, once you have that pulled up, you can see this unit I am calling Immunology and How Humans Have Shaped Disease. This will probably be our third of 5 units, right? So we're kind of approaching the halfway point of the course. We're going to take 8 lessons right up till Thanksgiving break. We're going to cover the immune system in pretty good depth, go into autoimmune diseases, and talk about something I'm very fascinated by, which is called the hygiene hypothesis and the old friends hypothesis. We'll talk about antibiotics and vaccines a little bit, and get into some prions and some bioterrorism stuff as well. Is what I'm hoping to fit into this unit. Before we can move into that, though, I want to kind of take some time to reflect on the test. But before we start that, though, I want to get us into our usual groupings just to do a quick little check-in like we've normally been doing. Let's just ask a silly question here. Okay, it's posted in the chat right now. So again, just say hi, check in with the person, whoever you're with, make sure you're both doing all right. But then the question is, if you had a time machine, would you go back in time or into the future? And explain why. And let's assume that we're just visiting, right? You're not going there to permanently stay. You can go visit for however long you would want to do this. So think about it for 20 seconds, and I'll throw us out into breakout rooms. All right, we'll come back together in 2 minutes. Breakout rooms are open. It's been a very recent image, right? That was all put together using fancy chemistry and kind of some biophysics kind of stuff. But it's the only RNA viruses have this sort of weird package where it looks like it's packaged in coils. But that's just the genetic material all condensed down. All right, other multiple choice, we're looking fine. Again, SARS-CoV virus damages the lungs tissues mostly by, again, it sends your immune system into overdrive, and your immune system starts to kill both healthy lung cells and infected lung cells. And had a very similar question about hepatitis B. Hepatitis B does the same thing to your liver, right? It drives your immune system into overdrive. Your immune system's trying to kill off the infected liver cells, but also kills a bunch of healthy cells as well. So that was one of the free response questions related to that. So this one too, which hepatitis B antigen, if present in the victim's blood, indicates active disease in highly infectious state? That's the HBeAg, right? They called it the E antigen, but again, I think of it as, that you're being affected, highly contagious. All right, rest of the multiple choice looking good. So then explain, these were the free response questions now. So starting right here, having a high reproductive rate, does it mean that the disease is more lethal? Most of you got that. No, that is not the case, right? Reproductive rate has nothing to do with how lethal a disease is. In fact, most diseases that have a high reproductive rate aren't very lethal, right? Because they are able to spread. And a lot of you made reference to Ebola, right? That Ebola is very deadly, but it has a pretty low reproductive rate R naught because it manifests so quickly, and it often kills its victims so quickly. It can't spread very effectively. It can't reach like pandemic levels, at least it hasn't yet. Explain why people who are immunocompromised with HIV can be asymptomatic carriers. So a lot of you were understanding what's going on with hepatitis B with the immune system, but you had to really get detailed to explain that hepatitis B uses your immune system to attack and destroy your liver, as I was saying earlier, and people who are immunocompromised, their weakened immune system won't show any of the symptoms, even though they do still have the virus. Everyone was good about R naught and effective, the RE, or the effective reproductive rate. Again, it's just when there's not very many people left to infect. Most people have either died or become immune because they've had the disease. That's how pandemics peter out. And so hopefully this COVID-19 pandemic is slowly making its way towards that. Antibiotics, most of you got, again, that overuse just gives a chance for more bacteria to become resistant. Big mistake, though, that I saw on a lot of this was a lot of you were talking about viruses. Remember that antibiotics are used to treat bacterial infections. They are sometimes prescribed for viral infections, but that should not happen. That's just doctors are just trying to cover their bases and prescribe something, but that's usually not something that should be done. Some confusion on this, but again, if you refer to the study guide or the video, the S, L, and B. S is how many susceptible people there are. L is how long you are sick and how long you're contagious for. And B is the transmissibility. So how good is the disease it's spreading, right? HIV can only be spread through blood-to-blood contact, whereas measles, you just had to breathe on somebody. You had to be in the same room with someone and you would get it. Flattening the curve, everyone got that we need to keep it slow so that hospitals don't get overwhelmed and that the death toll stays relatively low so people can be treated. And the Edpuzzles, the Flipgrids, overwhelmingly people chose either to explain the Milwaukee Protocol or the Ebola like cultural conflict. So props, there was one person who tackled the HIV like myths. So anyway, but all of those answers were good. Tried to give you full points where it was deserved. So any questions or comments on that assessment? All right, again, you should feel good. I was impressed by how everybody did. Feel free to meet with me individually if you have questions or anything else about that as well. Okay, so let's get started on our next unit, immunology. What I want to do is just give you a quick introduction to the immune system. And so we're going to do that through an Edpuzzle that I put together. It's just me giving you a short lecture, basically using slides from the biology course I used to teach and some new ones based on the textbook that I'm currently using. So I'm going to time the video is about 12 minutes long and there's about 4 questions to it. So I'm going to go ahead and time for 20 minutes. But I'll keep an eye on the Edpuzzle completion rate. And as it looks like most of us are done, I'll bring us back together for a quick check-in and then let you go for the next activity. If you finish the Edpuzzle and there's still time left, you can move on to step 5, which is a little Flipgrid assignment. You're basically going to be pointing out 4 major immune organs on your own body. Again, all of the instructions are there, and I'll talk about that when we get to it a little further down. You can do it on a doll too if you're uncomfortable showing yourself. But again, instructions are on that. So right now, let's focus on step 4. If Edpuzzle freezes for you or you can't get it to work, I do have a link to the original YouTube video, and there's a link to an alternative Google form that has the same questions that you can answer that would be on the Edpuzzle, so you can complete that. So let me know if you have questions. I'm going to time for 20 minutes to let you get going on that. We'll come back together to check in a bit. How we felt on each question. Edpuzzle breaks it all down for us. So first question was, what causes fever or heightened body temperature? Again, I think this is something that's commonly misunderstood. It looks like you all felt good. It is your own immune system that raises the temperature to disrupt viral replication. So yes, being sick does cause a rise in body temperature, but it's not the actual virus that's doing it, right? It's not part of the viral attack. It's actually your immune response to that. Your body's essentially trying to cook the virus out of your body, but it can be very dangerous for you as well, right? Especially your brain in particular, which is at risk of overheating, or especially in younger people too, who are at high risk of dehydration when they have fever. So that's what makes malaria so dangerous. Next question, macrophages destroy foreign pathogens and infected cells through, it's called phagocytosis, not supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So meaning they surround and break down the pathogen. They use antibodies to do this. They recognize that and then destroy it. So basically, your immune system is very good at labeling things for destruction. And then these guys, macrophages, are one of many types of cells that then go around looking for those indicators and destroy anything that shouldn't belong in there. Third question was mucosa-associated lymphatic tissue, or MALT, which I know sounds really complicated. It's literally just the guards at the door, right? It's your immune system has lymphocytes set up, ready to go at all the major entrances, your throat, your nose, sexual organs, even I think in the ears and things like that. Anywhere where there's an open space where pathogens might be invading, you get that, even in your digestive tract as well. Which we'll touch on in a second in the next activity. And then, can you have your spleen removed? The answer is yes, but you are at risk for further infection. It is a very important immune organ. It's filtering your blood and checking for pathogens. And while your lymph nodes will still continue to do that, and other parts of your immune system continue to function, you're going to have a reduced response whenever you get sick. So that's another reason why, again, you got to be careful when driving a car or participating in contact sports, because ruptured spleen is a common aftermath of that. So it's a very delicate organ. We're definitely not evolved to have been moving so fast or getting tackled so violently in things like sports and driving cars. So questions on any of that or anything, any comments? The immune system is incredible. It's also very complicated in the way that it works. I'm going to try to simplify things as best I can. But what I wanted to do right now was just point out the organs, because again, we don't think of the immune system often, and we just think of our blood as having that in the white blood cells, but you actually do have some dedicated organs for it. And so the last tasks to complete is a Flipgrid assignment. You're going to be taking a video of yourself. The title is Know Your Immune and Lymphatic Systems. If you click on that, it'll take you to let me just share my screen so you can see what you should all see, but you can pull this up as well. Here are the instructions on what you're going to do. I want you to just take a video of yourself where you point out your tonsils, which are one of many MALT sites. You don't actually have to point the camera down your throat, though. I don't want to see that. Just point to your neck where your tonsils would be. They're at the base of your tongue and then the back. Your axillary lymph nodes, your thymus, and your spleen. So again, before you make the video, take some time to do some research on Google. I have a link to the reading that's homework tonight. I based this assignment on that reading, so opening that up, you'll see a diagram, I think, on the second page, which pretty much has everything you need on it. But figure out where your thymus is, figure out where your spleen is, make sure you have a good understanding of just the very basic function of these things, and then make a video where you point to each one and describe what it's doing. Now, if you're not comfortable showing yourself, you can get a doll, as long as it's humanoid. You could use a teddy bear or something like that. If you don't have any of those things, you can get find a drawing or just make a quick drawing of a human figure. You could even do a stick figure if you really needed to, where you can point out these different things. But I just want you to verbally be naming them and describing how they work. I have a little demonstration video that I made. It's also available on the Flipgrid itself right there that you can watch, and then just take some time to do some research. You can refer to materials in front of you while you're making the video. I'm okay with you reading off stuff. I just want you to be pointing out and getting to know your body and where your immune organs are. So I'll be here listening. I'm going to time for, let's say we're over at 30 and it's 15 now. So let's go ahead and time for 13 minutes and see if you can get this done or get close to it. Let me know if you have questions or need help on anything. Go for it.